It's been said that every quilt tells a story, and it's so true. But I also believe every quilter has a story to tell. I wanted to hear about the people behind these wonderful quilts and thought you'd enjoy hearing about their lives also. Welcome to A Quilter's Life. It's hard to believe that we've come to the end of 2023, and I'm getting to publish this episode about the favorite tools in 2023 on A Quilter's Life on the first day of 2024. I had a wonderful 2023, and I hope you did also. Of course, one of the biggest blessings I had over the past year was getting to visit with so many of you wonderful quilters. And heading into 2024, I have great expectations of visiting with so many more of you. In each episode of A Quilter's Life, I always ask, what is your favorite quilting tool? Sometimes I phrase it like, what quilting tool are you so happy that you have or couldn't do without? Many of us love our tools so much that it's hard to choose just one. So I made a list of the top 23 quilting tools that were listed on A Quilter's Life in 2023. Maybe you'll remember hearing some of these as you listen along. The first 16 items were mentioned once during the year. Then I'll move on to the other items that more people mentioned until I get to tell you the tool that was the most favorite in 2023. The first one is so simple, I'm surprised more of us don't say it, but it's maybe so simple that we don't think a whole lot about it. But it's needle and thread. How many of us really agonize over what thread we want to use on that quilt? What type of thread? What color of thread? And then our needles. We would be lost without them. We couldn't do any of our quilting without our needles. So needle and thread were the first one. The second one was one I had not heard of before, and I was so excited to hear this tool, and I actually went out and got some, and I love it. It's the diagonal seam tape. It sticks right onto your sewing machine and comes off easily if you need it to, but that really helps line up those seams. Number 3, software to design our quilts. Now, I know I have EQ8. I don't know if there's other software out there, but I love designing my quilts on EQ8, and so many of our quilt designers use that product. Number 4, a number 2 mechanical pencil. When you use a mechanical pencil, the line doesn't get wider. If you're using a sharpened pencil, the line you draw tends to get wider as you go, so the mechanical pencil makes that a bit easier. Number 5, a custom thimble. I think these are offered at some trade shows. I haven't looked into them. I have kind of small fingers, and I think a custom thimble would really help. Number 6, freezer paper. I think freezer paper with certain designs would be so helpful, helping us to make everything more accurate. Number 7, sandpaper workboard. This is another one I had not heard of before, but it's a fine sandpaper and it holds your piece in place, and it's not going to move when it's on that sandpaper board. There are some YouTube videos out there that describe it so much better. Number 8, our iron. Pressing is such an important step making our quilts, and we couldn't do that without our iron. Number 9, quilting frame. Especially for the hand quilters out there, your quilting frame is a must. Number 10, the 1/4 inch foot. Again, I think so many of us actually have a 1/4-inch foot that we don't think of it being an added tool. But when we don't know about the 1/4-inch foot, it makes such a difference when we start to use one. Number 11, glue. Glue is becoming more and more useful in our quilts, keeping those small sections together. And I've seen people using it on the bindings too. Number 12, needle nose pliers. They're helpful to pick up items we need to that are hard to grab with our fingers, especially the blades for our rotary cutters when we're changing them. Number 13, seam roller. Now I'm picturing a wooden seam roller. I'm not sure if they make them in plastic or not, but the wooden ones are really nice. They can be used right at your machine so you don't have to get up to the ironing board with each seam. Now, it doesn't do as good of a press as an iron, but it does a good enough one that you can do your next step before you have to take it over to the ironing board. Number 14, a lint roller to clean around your sewing space. Now, I've used lint rollers, but I had not thought about using it around my sewing machine and picking up all the dust and lint that gets around as we sew. So that was another great tip. Number 15, AccuQuilt. Now this is one of the larger tools that we use. So it hadn't actually come to my mind as being a tool, but it saves so much time and really helps our cuts to be more accurate. Number 16, measuring tape. When I started quilting, I was told to buy the 120-inch measuring tape, and I'm so glad I did. That's wonderful to work with when you have those long borders. 17, marking tools. Now 2 marking tools were mentioned, the Hera marker and the Bowen retractable chalk marker. Number 18, stilettos. The By Annie stiletto was mentioned, and we were told the tip on it is a little rough that helps you keep your place, but it's not too rough to hurt the material. And then many people love the purple thing. Number 19 are scissors. Kai scissors, Karen K. Buckley scissors, Fisker spring action scissors, and the snippers. Number 20, sewing machines. For you long arm quilters, the Gamma long arm machine was mentioned. Then there's the embroidery machine, vintage sewing machines, and a straight stitch only machine. Number 21, our rulers. I think we all love our rulers. The ones that were mentioned this year were the 2.5-inch ruler, the Stripology ruler, a 1/4-inch ruler, a square ruler, angle play templates, Susan Cleveland's piping hot binding, simple fold corner ruler by Doug Lico of Antler Quilt Design. And there's a YouTube video put out by the Fat Quarter Shop on that ruler. And I included with the ruler handle was mentioned. It was a favorite tool. Number 22, rotary cutters. I think we all agree that these rotary cutters have made our lives so much simpler, and we all love them. And one in particular was mentioned by name this year. It's the Martelli cutter. And number 23, the most favorite tool of 2023 is the seam ripper. Although we dread using it at times, we're so thankful we have it. It does help us make better quality quilts. So there you have the list of favorite tools for 2023. And I wish you a happy new year on this first day of 2024. You can find more stories on aquilterslife.com or subscribe on your favorite podcast player so each episode will be downloaded automatically. Also, I want to hear about you and your wonderful quilts. Please contact me, Paula Chamberlain, through the website to set up an interview. And as always, thanks for listening.